All right, what's good? What's good? What's good? Man. Let me say what's up to everybody this fine morning. Gervonta Davis haters, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you got bad news yesterday. I know you were so much looking forward to this young man going to jail for a parole violation. I know that it ruined your day to have to jump your happy ass up off that. I know it hurt. I know it did. Kodak, what's going on, man? Gabe Toss, Control LaGrew, what's going on? Barbara D, the beautiful Barbara D. All things, what's going on? Mr. Mileage. Thrill True to Life, what's going on, man? Sabu Fishing, Michigan, salute. On the money line, what's going on, man? I'm doing well, brother. Louis Shipman, man, what's up, man? God bless you, brother. Literary Situation in the building, what's going on, man? Love Down Gaither in the building, man. FD Lewis, what's going on, man? What happened? I'll tell you in a second. Oh, it's terrible. He's not going to jail for a probation violation. He's not going to jail for a probation violation. Not going to jail for a probation violation. Just like he was not on the run. Just like he did have enough money to hire a lawyer. Okay? Like he did have enough money to hire a lawyer. Like all of these other things that wound up not being true. But at the same time, I have to make a comment, man. I do. I won't say your name, man, but I've got to say this comment, bro. I don't know who's writing your scripts, but man, you have to have a serious conversation with the people that are writing your scripts. Because AI, somebody, I don't know. But man, that's wrong as rain. But y'all been doing this guy so dirty. Reese said Tank fitting to drop his next opponent. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to play it like I've got sense and say that I will see what happens while it happens. Let me wait for people to get into the chat before we talk about this in some great detail. Man, Luis Gonzalez, what's going on this morning, man? How you feeling, man? Shout out to Puerto Rico, dog. Can I get a shout out to Puerto Rico while we wait? Shout out to Puerto Rico. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Shout out to Amanda Serrano for being so professional. I want to talk, before we get into the main topic, I want to say thank you to Amanda Serrano for being so professional in not cussing out that idiot Jake Paul for calling Bad Bunny a fake U.S. citizen. Jake Paul just showed you exactly what he is, bro. Sometimes it just leaks out like Kid Rock. You know what I mean? Like Kid Rock, bro. Fanon, are you going to touch base on the interview that Maddox did with the WBC president? Yeah, it was extremely biased on the part of Chris Maddox. Yes, I saw a portion of it. Chris Maddox is incredibly self-serving and said that he doesn't believe that the sanctioning bodies, that their fee should be paid, which is absolutely ridiculous. This man has no idea what the WBC does. This guy has absolutely all 100% self-interest involved in this because he wants to be the guy that gets to determine who the champions are. That's what I think about that interview. The media is extremely self-interested when it comes to the conversation about the sanctioning bodies, because they are now bought and paid for by people that want to get rid of the sanctioning bodies. When it's good for them, they like the sanctioning bodies. When it's bad for them, they don't like the sanctioning bodies. So I have no respect for the conversation that Chris Mannix had with Mauricio Sulaiman, because it is exactly what Rick Glazier and his bullshit lawsuit, in my opinion, that he's connected to, the one with Al Heyman and in that bullshit lawsuit, self-dealing on the part of the Boxing Writers Association of America and the journalists that associate themselves with Ring Magazine or DAZN. Because Ring Magazine is associated with DAZN and the Boxing Writers Association of America, and you guys are now pushing the Muhammad Ali Revival Act along with Zufta, and you're trying to get rid of the belts for Zufta or for TKO or whoever's paying you the most money right now. So yeah, I found him. I found the man to be. No, it's a terrible example. Terrible example. I'll prove this to you. Watch this. I'll prove it to you. Give me 1 second. No, I thought he had a shitty point. He made a good point of Shakur having to pay the WBC when the fight with Tio had nothing to do with the WBC. Yes, it did have something to do with the WBC. It absolutely did have something to do with the WBC. Shakur Stevenson was holding the WBC belt when he fought for the WBO belt. He was the WBC champion. He marketed himself as the WBC champion. The reason that he got the fight right away with Teofimo Lopez in the first fight is because he was the WBC champion. The reason anybody cared about Shakur Stevenson at all at 135 was because he had a WBC championship, and that's why he got the fight at 140. Now watch this. If they would have said, and this is what Mauricio Sulaiman said, okay, fine, go up there and fight the guy. We're going to take our belt and have somebody else fight for it. Goodbye. If you don't want to pay for the fight, no worries. Keep the belt at WBO, the WBO belt, and goodbye. You know why? Because you are a champion in their weight, in their sanctioning body. If you don't want to pay to remain a champion in our body, goodbye. And it's not unfair because they could have had somebody else fight for a championship belt, that fight. Yes, they could have. Instead of having that belt get held while Shakur fought in another weight class, right? Which is basically doing what? Holding their WBC belt hostage. All right? You don't get to hold their belt hostage while you go to 140. That's why they have the rule there. That I didn't mean to talk down to you, but do you see what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson is doing business, and it's twofold for me. One is Shakur Stevenson is marketing himself as a world champion, a 4-weight division champion. That's what he's calling himself. In order to call himself a four-weight division champion, he has to have the WBC belt in 135. He said that he was going to come back down and fight at 135. He intended and represented himself as being the 135-pound champion. So if you go fight for somebody else, what are you going to do for them so that they don't have somebody else fight for their title? Because they do have bills like everybody else. I'm telling you right now, man, please, this shit's an easy argument for me. It's an easy argument for me. You guys want to sit there and talk about, not you, Chris. People want to say, oh, well, what do they do with the money? What do they do with the money? Dog, it's not your business what they do with the money. The question is, what business do you get out? Do you get out of having been a champion since 1960? Let's be very, very real. But limited time, given Shakur was crazy, being stripped that fast. Nah, it ain't that crazy when you have a history of trying to negotiate. They weren't negotiating. They said, give me my belt back. If he didn't want to pay the fee, he's got to give me the money back. He said he didn't want to pay the fee. That's what I heard. He said he didn't want to pay the fee. If you don't want to pay the fee, give me your belt. Give me the belt. Look, people don't have to negotiate with Shakur. I like Shakur very much, and I mean this for real, not like fake niggas do. I like Shakur very much. I really do. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a fucking magnificent fighter. I just happen to disagree with this on the principle that, number one, the media is self-dealing. It is in Chris Mannix's benefit to say the sanctioning bodies don't matter, so that they can tell you who the best fighter is with their pound-for-pound lists that really don't mean anything. Ring Magazine wants to name the champion. And they're all in business with Turki Al-Sheikh. So no, bro. Turki Al-Sheikh's at war with the sanctioning bodies. So these guys, and let's be very clear, Shakur did not want to give up that belt. He wanted to keep the belt. He just didn't want to pay for it. Just like Terence Crawford wanted that WBC belt. He didn't want to drop that belt at that time. He just didn't want to pay for it, or at least what they said it was worth. So if you don't want to pay what it's worth, okay, go get your free belt. But note, they only say that shit when they get the free belt. What about everybody else? Chris Mannix? What about all the other champions that are fighting for titles? What are they supposed to do? The WBC rankings are not important for them? How do these guys get boxing matches if they're not ranked by one of the sanction bodies, Chris? How are they supposed to get fights? Oh, well, Turki Al-Sheikh and us at Ring, we'll decide who does it. Yeah, exactly. You guys want to be the people that decide what happens in the sport of boxing, bro. You guys are involved in matchmaking. You guys are nothing. You guys are working for the people that are trying to influence people to not make fights, not make certain fights, make other fights. And the sanctioning bodies get in the way of you guys doing that. Let's be real. You want to make the fights that you want to make when you want them made. Just like you want the fighters that you want to be big time and not the guys that you don't like. Like, for example, Shakur Stevenson's running around like he ain't never got to sell a ticket in his life. Devin Haney fights like he never has to sell a ticket in his life. We already went through what I believe the financial system is that allows you guys to behave like that. But that's coming to an end, man. No, but anyway, let's get to this. When are you going to apologize to Gervonta Davis, man? When are you going to say, Gervonta, I'm sorry for implying that you were going to do multiple years in jail because you had an arrest warrant issued for you in Baltimore? When are you guys going to apologize? Fanon, did you see the lawyer interview on All the Smoke? What do you think about the lawyer said about the contract getting what you pay? I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Mileage. What lawyer interview on All the Smoke? Mr. Mileage? No, seriously, man, when are you going to say I'm sorry? When are you going to say I'm sorry, partner? People ain't got to battle forever. When are you going to say I'm sorry, I was wrong? It's not hard to do, bro. It's really not that hard to do. Like when you guys said that Gervonta Davis was on the run. Where is that tank video that everybody saw? Yeah, exactly. Hold on, bro. Also, yeah, dog, but I'll play it, bro. It's called a presumption of innocence, but Gervonta Davis does not get that. Gervonta Davis gets a presumption of guilt. It's a presumption of guilt. When will you apologize? When will you apologize? You just keep on rolling with it, huh? Setups. Now, here's the thing. I'm wondering how the civil suit became a felony. Oh, a civil suit became because they had to file it. They had to file for it. Look, man, I'm not saying Gervonta Davis is in the free and clear. I'm just saying you guys are dead wrong. And I want to know when you guys are going to admit ever that you're wrong. It's been a lot of years now that you guys have been doing this. And the hypocrisy, man. The hypocrisy, bro. I mean, my God. Listen to this. I hate to do it, bro. I don't even like doing this. But it's something where you guys have to see this shit. This isn't even my style, bro. I swear to God, it's not. It's really, I usually am like, you know what? I'll just tell y'all what happened, but I'm not going to do it this time. I'm going to let y'all hear this. And I'm not being callous to her situation. But now, I didn't watch this, so I don't know if it's taken out of context. I haven't gotten the full context because you know why? I can't stand it. But anyway, this is from Angry White Man Podcast. Listen to this. And I'm not being callous to her situation, but I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and I'm not being callous to her situation, but I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining. Bro, fuck all that. And I'm not being callous to her situation, but I'm not being callous to her situation, but that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and I know people got to be disappointed when they. And I'm not being callous to her situation, but I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and bro. I know people got to be disappointed when they see. Bro. Wow. I mean, wow. Isn't that calling the kettle black? What's his angle? Everything is subject to change, especially when you have to stay on script. Because the prosecution doesn't look like it's doing very well. They thought that they could get the honorable Althea M. Handy from the great state of Maryland. They thought that she was going to throw Gervonta Davis in jail for several years because of what transpired, or didn't, or did, whatever he would, because of what he's accused of in Florida. Let me tell you what I've said this entire time. An accusation is not a conviction. Just because you don't like a guy is no reason for you to act like he's guilty. And for you guys to try to get ahead of it by making up a bunch of sensational headlines that make people think Gervonta Davis is going to jail for years. At the same time, you also made people think that believed you that he didn't have enough money for a lawyer. Before that, and that's why he was on the run from the law. First, we find out he's not on the run for the law. He stayed right there. Second of all, he gets right out of jail. They don't sit him in jail for years. He wasn't a fugitive. He didn't behave like a fugitive. They didn't treat him like a fugitive. But you know what they do? They make big deals about shit on the news because you guys cause so much nonsense and put so much bad press out about Gervonta that you make law enforcement people overreact to the guy. Because you guys put up so much political pressure on these politicians, they have to do something. What do you say, clickbait? I mean, yeah, but clickbait, it's clickbait from one side. No, it's not clickbait. It's not clickbait if he says what he says. That's not clickbait. What it is a fucking lie, is what it is. What it is being saying that you saw the videotape. What that is a lie. What that is a lie. It's a flat out lie. But anyway, the effect of the lie. The effect of the lie. The effect of the lie is that people that just randomly look up the topic get the information that you put out there. Whether they're in the law enforcement, whether you probably have people calling in to law enforcement about it, telling her about it. How do you think she heard about it? She heard about it because she probably heard about it in the news. You guys are the ones asking all of that. And then what happens? She winds up saying, oh, okay, we'll just give you a summons and thank you for cooperating. She didn't put him in jail. Now, I didn't hear what happened, and I won't act like I heard what happened between the judge and Gervonta. All I know is that if she had on tape, that he punched her in the face, his ass might be sitting in a jail cell. No, clickbait is when you have, truth be told, clickbait is when what's in the title is not in the video. That's clickbait. When you're baiting somebody just to click it so that they can look at it. That's clickbait. No. What this guy is doing and what many people are doing is just lying and then telling a lie. That's a flat out lie. Lying is not clickbait. Lying is lying. Call it what it is. No, lying is lying. Lying is not clickbait. Clickbait is when you have a title that says, big beautiful girl, big boobs on a beautiful girl. And then you see an ad for a mortgage. That's clickbait. What you're doing, what people are doing, is you're just flat out lying. You're saying you saw a videotape of that's what Jake Paul did. Jake Paul just lied. Jake Paul said, oh, I saw of him and punch him in the face. No, you didn't. Nobody, the accusation doesn't say that. The girl never said she was punched in the face. As a matter of fact, it says that you don't have any, she didn't have any type of stuff. She had some bruising on her wrist, which she could have called by her fucking self. Quite honestly, bruising on her wrist, she could have caused that shit by herself. Red marks on her wrist, she could have went like this. For red marks on her wrist, you got to prove it's his. Okay, especially if this girl has ever accused somebody else of this falsely. Because Gervonta said that she's done this to other people. If they have any proof of her doing this to other people, She's fried because she's not a credible witness. And they said she lied to the police. If she lied to the police, she's not a credible witness. If she agitated him, exaggerated. Come on, man. Look, I'm saying what could happen. You guys want the nigga out of boxing. Let's go. Let's get to the fact that you guys went straight to get Gervonta Davis out of boxing. Do you think it's coincidental that the same people that went straight to get Gervonta out of boxing, oh, what a terrible person, he did this, are the same people that said Gervonta Davis, they would rather see Gervonta Davis fight nobody than to see him fight Lamont Roach? This is the same group of people. Same group of people before the Lamont Roach fight. Didn't want to see Gervonta Davis fight anybody. Hey, Floyd, how you doing, Floyd? You guys fight dirty is what you guys do. You guys fought dirty. You thought you were going to stick this kid, and you're not sticking him. You thought you had him dead to rights, but you ruined this guy's paycheck because you didn't want him to earn the money. You didn't want him to have the exposure. You jealous fucking assholes. That's what you are, really. But no apologies, man. No, look, man, I'm not saying anything about whether they can beat Tank in the ring or not. All I'm talking about is what you guys, you cornball ass Negroes, are doing outside the ring. You guys are doing corny shit outside the ring. You guys are picking sides and playing with people that are doing corny shit. That's what you're doing. Did you guys see Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford give an interview to Aiden Ross where Shakur Stevenson called Gervonta Davis weird and started to act like he didn't know who Gervonta was and he wasn't going to answer questions about Gervonta Davis. Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard that. Give me 1 second. My allergies are really acting up. Oh, give me 1 second. I gotta blow my nose. My allergies are acting up something fierce. All right. Oh, yeah. So, you guys are just going to try to do Errol Spence 2.0, huh? So, it's Errol Spence 2.0. Errol Spence 2.0. Errol Spence, you're going to try to do Shakur. I love Shakur as a fighter, bro. I like him very much as a person. I know you guys is listening, bro. But let me put it this way. I'm going to act like you guys are going to hear this. Look, man. Let's not try to play Gervonta Davis stupid, bro. Okay? Can we not do it while you act like you're not doing it at the same time, bro? Let's not act stupid. Okay? Now, let me tell you what I mean. You're going to try to get attention by acting like you don't need Gervonta while everybody asks you the question to your face. but you're going to act like you don't need them, knowing full well that's the only damn reason that you're in the interview. And that's the only question that anybody really cares about, other than you getting stripped by the WBC. Shakur, nobody cares about you fighting Devin Haney. Now, I know what you want to do by fighting Devin Haney because I've watched Terence Crawford. All right? Let me tell you, man. Bro, we see the game. We see the game, bro. I can see the shit coming years in advance. We see your play. I see your hand. You're going to try to act like you don't need Gervonta. Meanwhile, the press, while you don't fight Gervonta, is going to consistently ask you about Gervonta. And then you're going to go fight other people that are easier, hoping that, watch this, hoping that Gervonta declines. And at the point in time where Gervonta looks suspect enough to actively try to get a fight, that's when you're going to actively try to get the fight. Towards the tail end, after Gervonta's fought 3 or 4 other people, hoping while you sell yourself. You know when this started? The first time I ever saw this shit happen was Floyd Mayweather Jr. Manny Pacquiao. It's a top-rank move. It's a top-rank move. Manny Pacquiao did it to Floyd Mayweather. They took 5 years and did that shit for 5 years. You guys act like it was Errol Spence that did not want that fight with Terence for 5 years. Bullshit. Terence at the end of it was the one that delayed that fight. Terence. At the end of it, when it was really coming down to making the fight, who was the one that backed out of the negotiations? Who was the one that came with all of the crazy and crazy negotiations? Who was that? That was Terence. But we're supposed to believe the guy that was the easiest to negotiate was the guy that was delaying it the whole time, while the guy that was the most difficult to negotiate was the one that really was wanting to make the fight. Bullshit. Bullshit. Just like you guys are trying to do this dumb shit with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, bro. Look, Terence, just take the fucking money, bro. Just take the money and fight the guy, dog. I don't want to hear that you're retired while you're sitting on a show every other day. Every other day, I see Terence Crawford interview come right by me. But you're retired. You don't act retired. You act like you're doing the same thing you always do, except you're being more accessible to the press and doing interviews trying to build up Shakur and giving Shakur tips on how to take advantage of Gervonta Davis. While y'all trying to hit a lick, bro. Stop that bullshit, bro. Just say you'll fight the guy when it's time to fight the guy, man. Oh, he's a weirdo. Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Shakur. No, man, no. Hell no, dog. Hell no. Hell no. We won't go. Hell no. We won't go. Dog, you're not going to pull that shit, bro. I'm telling you right now, I will do a video a day, nigga. You are not pulling that bullshit, bro. You are not pulling that bullshit. Not pulling that bullshit, not pulling that bullshit, not pulling that bullshit. Dog, you know god dang well what you trying to do. You trying to make it look like Gervonta Davis ducked you. Go up there and fight for easy money because Devin Haney is easy money. You're not going to get hurt. Okay? You're not going to get touched. Nobody's going to beat on you, bro. Come on, man. Come on, bro. You know what you're doing. You're trying to take the long route, bro. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And you think you got a lick with Turkey Al-Sheikh. You got that Turkey Al-Sheikh lick, dog, because you the duck. Come on, man. What they gonna try to get you on Netflix? They gonna try to get you on a Netflix fight? Boy, you better go fight Gervonta Davis on Netflix. Gervonta Davis cleared his shit out. Y'all can get a fight on Netflix. Stop acting like, yeah, you know, I don't know who he is. He weird, nigga. He weird. Man, you know why he weird. You don't want to say Gervonta Davis was going to go to jail, bro. I'm telling you, man, I'm not trying to hear that game playing shit, bro. Dog, that's why you heard, man, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is playing Canelo Alvarez the exact same way. And Canelo Alvarez took the bait. Canelo's like, if you don't give me my rematch, Canelo, this is Bud Crawford. Tell Bud, fuck you, Bud, and walk away. Fuck Bud. You're not going to get a good deal fighting with Bud. You're not. Tell Bud, fuck Bud. That's it. The best way to negotiate with Bud is for the negotiation to go like this. Bud, what do you want? Bud gives you, says it, and you say, fuck that, Bud. I'm not doing business with you. That's the only way you're going to get a fair deal with Bud is not to do business with him. I'm telling you, anybody that says that they don't care what the other guy gets out of the deal, as a negotiation expert, decades of experience, man. Decades and decades of experience dealing with some of the raggediest Negroes ever to do a negotiation. Okay? Niggas that had no intention on keeping their promises. I've dealt with all of them. Okay? Dealt with people that intended to keep their promises, people that didn't intend to keep their promises, people that wanted to document everything, people that think you stupid when you document things, I've dealt with them all. The only way that you're ever going to get a fair deal out of somebody that thinks that they have to win a negotiation, only way that you're going to get a fair deal, right, is one of two ways. Either you have so much leverage on them that they got to do what you tell them to do. Right there. You see what I'm saying? If you have so much leverage that these clowns have to do what you tell them to do, there's no negotiation whatsoever. You get a fair deal. The other way to get a fair deal out of people like that is to not deal with them. And that's fair. Okay? That's the only way you can ever get a good deal with them, is to either have so much power over them that they have no choice but to do what you tell them to do, or you choose not to do business with them at all. That's how you get a fair deal. That's it. Because in the first case, when you have so much muscle that if they move, they're in trouble, they're going to take the deal. They're going to take the deal that you offered them, and they're going to be happy about it. And it's up to you to be fair. So therefore, you get a fair deal. Why? Because you wanted a fair deal. And you had all the power, so you made a fair deal. That's the only way you're going to get a fair deal with Bud. Or anybody that said what Andre Ward said about not caring about what the other guy gets. Look, bro, I've watched all of these guys do business, dog. I know about the music industry where Jay Prince came from, and the boxing industry, and amateur boxing, and promotions. I paid it, and I know the sanctioning bodies, bro, and I know your gambling schemes. No, dog, you're not about to run the gauntlet on niggas, bro. And let me tell you what you tried to do. You tried to destroy Gervonta Davis. You sit by while they destroy Gervonta Davis, and you just wash your hands of it and take advantage of the fact that it takes place. Seriously. You guys just stand there, watch what these other people do to Gervonta Davis. Don't step in and say a fucking thing about it. But try to take advantage of it at the same time. You're just like a vulture. You're just a different type of vulture. You're not the aggressive one that comes first. You're the one sitting on the bullshit on the backside. Once they destroy Gervonta Davis, and all the big fights will then involve these guys. So you take shots at Gervonta, and say that guy's a weirdo. Nigga, we got you on. Bro, I respect the shit out of y'all. But dog, we got their shit on all of y'all. Okay? Let's not act like they ain't got shit on everybody. And I mean that, and I mean that with much love to everybody. Come on, man. There's tapes of people, of certain people punching girls in the face. Come on, man. Somebody sued somebody for claiming that they were having an affair on their wife. Meanwhile, they wind up having a baby by a woman out of wedlock. So no, bro, you guys are just sitting there and waiting for these vultures to destroy Gervonta, and you guys are going to get the benefit of the fact that he's gone. So much so that you're going to act like he doesn't exist while the man is going through this shit. Come on, man. And then the guy doesn't go to jail because you thought the nigga had an arrest for a warrant and he was finna go to jail. At least that's what you guys were saying. I guess he's going to get his day in court without going to jail. Hey, isn't everybody happy? Man, that pound for pound. Dude, they got a guy named Oscar Collazo on the pound for pound list that has 13 fucking fights. They got an American strawweight on a pound for pound list that has 13 fights. Nobody respects Ring Magazine's pound for pound list. It's not a respectable list. Seriously though, man. We're not gonna let him play the game, bro. I'll give the PBC a bunch of backing, at least strategically. Hey, Gervonta, exactly, a strawweight, which means he can only be a champion in one weight division. He's a unified champion that's got 13 fights. And he's in a pound for pound list, bro. There's nothing on God green earth Gervonta Davis could do to get past number 10. This dude pops up at number 10. Why? Because he's a unified champion. But watch this shit. The only reason this guy is there on Ring's top 10 pound for pound list is because he's got 3 championship belts. Whose championship belts are those? The sanctioning bodies. The same sanctioning bodies that they act like are unnecessary. Right? You can't make this shit up. They're so hypocritical. The Boxing Writers Association. Many members of it. Anyway. Let me say it that way. Many members of it. You guys act like a little cabal. Oh, you don't see the play. I see the play, bro. Shame on y'all, man. Gervonta Davis has not even had his day in court. And you guys convicted him 2 months ago. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with this. Put a 1 in the chat if you think this is a true statement. Gervonta Davis was convicted of kidnapping, assault, and battery back in November without ever having a day in court. Without ever having a day in court. You guys reported on this guy, ran his name down, just like you were doing when you were showing mugshots of him, Bill. Now, you remember when Bill Haney, do you remember how Bill Haney used to love showing mugshots of Gervonta Davis? You snitch. You guys think you have this power to put cases on dudes. You guys are getting in the middle of this kid's life. And you over there taking advantage of it, bro. Y'all are sitting watching this little war go on. You thought your little niggas you thought these guys are going to win this war. So you picked a side and your side lost. Gervonta is, and I'm going to repeat this again. Gervonta is not going to jail for his hit and run. The most serious chance he had to go to jail was that probation violation. That was the big charge right there. You know why? Because if he had done anything to violate his probation, that lady would have put him in jail. She already did it. She had already put Gervonta Davis in jail for being somewhere he shouldn't have been. Do you understand that this lady is not much? Let me say this with all my heart. Thank you to Judge Althea M. Handy for being fair. And that is something that I will say about that judge. Everything that I've seen about that judge, even if I didn't like it because I'm a Gervonta Davis fan, and dude, everything that woman has said and done, I believe has been fair. Because she has been holding Gervonta Davis responsible for his actions. I don't have any problem with that lady. And even in the videos that I did, when I said, and you guys didn't even want to report it. You guys didn't even want to report it. TMZ only knew about the arrest warrant because there was a hearing about it, right? They didn't do a press release. They had a hearing about it. The hearing was where Gervonta Davis's lawyer said, can you just give him a summons? He's been compliant. You guys had that man in jail for 3-4 years. Y'all had that man in jail for 3-4 years. But we know what you're doing, though. We know what happens when shit just keeps happening to somebody, bro. Bro, let me tell you something, dog. Y'all need to apologize to that kid for what you've done just to him so far. They didn't have to arrest him. They didn't. But you got to understand, 2 Cent, it wasn't just that they didn't have to arrest him. It's that they didn't have to incarcerate him. Because you got to remember, 2 Cent, it's a parole violation. They're not arresting him so that they can find out what's going on. No, they were going to arrest him to sit his happy black ass in jail for a year. Okay? The probation violation itself, whether he did that to the girl or not, if he was really a fugitive, if he was really on the run, if he had not been telling what was going on, he would have been in jail. So not only do we know what they said about him going to jail is not true, we know what they said about him being a fugitive is not true. But what they had him on was very serious. Because you got to remember, he's already convicted of the hit and run. He's currently serving a sentence. So what they really would have got him on, their best chance to get him, was to get him on a probation violation. That's the big risk he had. Especially, let me say it this way, especially if, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying if it is true that he had something to do with what she claimed, right? Anything, any type of touching, right? Even if he doesn't get convicted of that. But if it winds up that he did something that violated his probation, he's going to go to jail for the rest of the time. Because the first time, I think he stuck her in there, him in there for like 3 months, 6 months, something like that. Second time around, she could have made him sit there for the rest of his time. Made him go to court in Florida. They could have sentenced him in Florida. And when he got done with his time in Maryland, they could have set him to do his time in Florida. They could have done something to really screw that guy up. Why do they hate Tank so much? Are the Haney's really that desperate? No, bro. It gets. But let me tell you, I think it's on a lot of levels, bro. Gervonta Davis can beat Shakur Stevenson if they fight right now. That's not what happened. Florida did not arrest him. Florida arrested him for a warrant in Florida. There was a warrant in Florida. That is the one where he's charged in Florida. There was a warrant issued for him in Baltimore, which they took back and rescinded. That old trick, let me say. He said, that's old trick. Give somebody probation for a long time knowing they will slip up and violate probation for the violation of the sentence. Yep. Hey, bro, I'm trying to tell you, set your ass like they got. That's the big thing. If he had done anything to violate his probation, bro, he goes back for the rest of the time. That for them to rescind that arrest, that was the big thing, bro. What's up, Noop? Oh, Noop, I got something for you. He said, hey, Noop, am I right to think his team and the prosecutor set something up to bring him in just to say they did it? I don't know, man. I'm going to tell you something. T. Orlando would be a better person to ask. But I'm going to tell you, Gervonta Davis seemed very unconcerned. I wouldn't put it past him, though, to say, okay, he's going to be at this position. He is at this place. He's going to be here. Can you pick him up here? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. He said he went in there without incident, and he looked like he was not. He didn't look like he was. Didn't look like he was, particularly bothered by the fact that he got arrested, and he seemed in good spirits. Honestly, man, Gervonta Davis says he didn't do it, and he's acted like he didn't do it, and he's been abiding by his probation, which is not the picture that you guys I said in TV shows all the time. So I figured they do that in real life. Oh, black nationalism in look, bro, I got a theory, bro, about where Pan-Africanism and black nationalism, where that shit went wrong. I really do understand what you guys are saying, man, because basically what I was going to talk about, if there was that type of conversation, is that, there is Pan-Africanism, and then there is black Africanism, black nationalism. And then there's within black nationalism, there's all the different tribes and all the different people that make up the black nation. So for me, Pan-Africanism doesn't mean anything other than that you're going to recognize the nationalist movements of other black people, right? So listen to me for a second. I won't go on too long on this. So for me, I believe in Pan-Africanism means this. Listen, Pan-African can mean this. That you believe, if you believe in Africa, that I will support nationalism within Africa. So like Ibrahim Traoré and what he's doing in Burkina Faso, I support that. South Africa, what they're doing with nationalism in South Africa, I support that. Jamaicans, nationalism in Jamaica, I support that. I support anywhere there are people of that would be considered black. I don't care if they're African or not, really. Anywhere that these people will be considered black, where they live, where they're indigenous, I believe in nationalism for them. So if you're in the United States and you're from Senegal, bro, I believe in you. But dog, you should be in there in Senegal fixing the problems in Senegal and leave me in America to fuck alone. That's where I am on that shit, bro. It took me a long time to kind of get to where my base thought in that shit is. Because I do believe in Pan-Africanism and all that shit. It sounds good, but it doesn't really have any effect. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, bro. I'll get to that at another time, bro, because my dad died a while ago, bro. So I'm really starting to get back into it. But anyway, let's get back on this. Hey, Phenomenal Noob, did you hear this? Phenomenal Noob, did you hear this? And I'm not being callous to her situation. But I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her, because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and I know people got it. And I'm not being callous to her situation, but I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her, because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and I know people. And I'm not being callous to her situation, but I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her, because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and I know people got to be disappointed when they see my face looking like. Man, they tore my brand halfway to shit on allegations that I had defamed Terence Crawford and that I was getting sued, bro. He said he just makes content. Man, nah, seriously, man, ain't that crazy? Man, you can't, the Gervonta Davis thing alone, bro. You can't be out here tearing up people's brands. Bro, you should not talk about the law, man. Let's start talking about this. How about you guys never talk about the law? How about you never talk about contracts? You never talk about the law. You never report on these things, bro. Because dog, seriously, Gervonta Davis could still get convicted. Like, listen to this. This is how silly this reactionary shit is. Listen to this. The fact of the matter is this. Gervonta Davis is not going to go to jail for the probation violation, right? That's what the arrest warrant was. However, Gervonta Davis, and I don't even want to give this to you dumbasses, Gervonta Davis still has to go to court over the accusation itself, right? So there's no reason for you to call for the girl to get sued just because he didn't get held on a probation violation. Like, you don't know the law. Like, it's not fake. The law is a real thing that you have to understand. Like, you don't understand what you're talking about. And because you don't understand what you're talking about, what you say can be harmful to the people that you're talking about, because you don't know what you're talking about. I listen to you, and it is very clear that not only are you lying, you don't know what you're talking about. You literally don't understand the process. You don't understand the words that are on the piece of paper that you're reading. Like, dude, listen to me, y'all. Just because you can see the words on the piece of paper and read them doesn't mean that you understand what you read. Can I get a 1 in the chat for people that are sick of dummies? Because we got to talk about it on one level. You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And that is just as bad as fucking lying. It is. It's just as bad. Because you're telling people this is going to happen, that is going to happen. But you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just going through and saying shit that sounds good to you at the time. But you don't know what you're talking about. Then you want to lie on top of it and make up dates, make up things and stuff that you saw. Bro, it compounds itself. Jesus, man. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Gervonta Davis, and look, T. Orlando. And even if you do know to a degree what you're talking about, bro, I would never say the things that you guys say. You guys don't know enough to know what not to say. You don't know enough about the process to know what not to say. Like even Dan Rayfield. At least Dan Rayfield makes, with his disgusting comment, Gervonta Davis has as many arrest warrants in the last 2 weeks as he's had fights in the last 2 years. At least he's just being an asshole. You know what I mean? At least Dan Rayfield, who is probably being paid to be an asshole, who definitely has an interest in being an asshole as it pertains to this issue. At least he's not saying something that's wrong. And at least he knows what he's talking about. Right? He knows, number one, that Gervonta Davis has an arrest warrant. And he knows how many times he's fought in the last 2 years. So he makes a statement that is an asshole statement to make. But he's not wrong. And he ain't lying. That is the standard at the least that you should be operating at. That is the least level of journalistic fuck-uppery that you should allow yourself to reach. Where you're saying something side-eyed and smart-assed based on actual facts and your true understanding. Never based off you just making shit up. Because even your apology, dumbass, wasn't even necessary. Because Gervonta may still get convicted of the crimes in Florida. You are thinking, and I can, oh my God, terrible. Jamari in the building. Thank you so much for that, brother. Y'all mean so much, bro, for that support, bro. And my guy, Jeep Red Boy in the building. Thank you so much, so much, so much, man. It means a lot. Let me give you that gong for the support, bro. The Kamal God. The Kamal gong. Sorry. Hey, T. Orlando said, in the words of Della Reese, I'm an honest hoe, and all my hoes is honest. Hey, man. Hey, that's what a good lawyer is, an honest hoe. I'm an honest hoe. I ain't got no problem with an honest hoe. If you a hoe and you say, hey, I met an honest hoe, I like honest hoes. I ain't gonna lie, dog. It's something about a good hoe. You gotta love them. No joke, bro, for real. Shakur, though. Let's talk about Shakur. T. Orlando. No. All of that shit is think tank shit. You see, as soon as Abdullah Mason won a belt at lightweight, went up, and everybody's heading to 147 quick and fast. It's because nobody's in 147 right now. That's why they're doing that shit. Fair exchange, no robbery. There you go. Jamahari. Jamahari. I'm sorry, bro. Jamahari. Is that right? Jamahari. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, man, I'm terrible with names, man. I'm absolutely one of the worst you're ever going to hear with names. Anyway, though, I don't want you guys to fall for Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford and the Bud Buddies scheme. I don't want to fall for that, bro. Okay? When Gervonta Davis gets past all this dumb shit, bro, Shakur is not the number one guy. He's not dictating the terms. Nobody is flipping no fucking coin. None of that shit, bro. Go ahead and fight one of Gervonta Davis's leftovers for some money, and then see if you can make an honest, straight up fight with the guy, and then take the money that you know you deserve. How do you pronounce it again? Hey, Jamra. Hey, give me the phonics of it. Give me the phonics of it. Don't make me go back. Give me it by phonics, man. Somebody give it me by phonics. Give me the phonics, bro. I don't want. We've gone through this before, and I screwed you over. What's the phonics on it? Please give me the phonics on it, brother. Please give me the phonics. I'm waiting. I hate that I did that. Shakur gonna wind up fighting Frank Martin. Shakur gonna try to get that free ass money. Jamari or Jamari? One for Jamari, two for Jamari. Jamari. I got it. Okay, Jamari. Oh, yeah. I got it. Hey, Jamari. Thank you, Jamari. Jamari or Jamari? Come on, man. Let me get my answer. Come on, man. Look, bro. When Tank comes back, do you think he comes back at 135 or 140? I think he's going to come back at 140. Jamari. Cool. It's Jamari. Gotcha. Jamari. Hold on. He just said two. I forgot which two was. Do rearray. Jamari or Jamari? Rearray. That looks like Ray. Jamari, give me a rearray. Man, I would love that. Shakira, come on, man. Shakur is the shit, bro. First of all, I fuck with Andre Ward heavy. You my guy. Come on, Jamari or Jamari? Jamari. You gotta let me know, bro. I grew up in a white community, bro, so I fuck up some names, bro. Jamari. I got you, bro. Thank you, man. Jamari. I got you, Jamari. Thank you, Jamari. Ray. It says Ray as I can see it. It says Ray. Jamari. Love it. Thank you, bro. Thank you, brother. Jamari. I'm telling you, man, I grew up with guys' names was like, Eric and Anthony and Tony. I didn't grow up with no Jamaris and Jamarays and all that, man. I didn't do it. I went over there with the crib. I went over there, dog. So my pronunciation's fucked up. You know how it is. It's still affecting me, bro. Hold on one second. You trying to make Shakur who he's not? No, man. I'm not trying to make Shakur who he's not. I may have some bad observations about Shakur, but Shakur is what Shakur is, bro. Shakur is who Shakur is. You know what I'm saying? Shakur is who Shakur is. And I think Shakur is a tremendous fighter. I'm looking at what he's doing in the ring, and I think he can beat Gervonta. I'm being very honest about it. I think he can beat Gervonta. I think Gervonta can also beat Shakur. And I think Gervonta Davis can do something to beat that team. I do. I think Gervonta Davis has got the team to beat Shakur Stevenson's team. But what I'm telling you is I'm sick to death of all the bullshit games, bro. Stop that shit, man. Y'all ain't no better than the people that came before you with all the bullshit y'all playing, bro. You know? And Bud is why is Bud tagging along with Shakur everywhere? Because they can't sell by themselves. Because Shakur has to be connected to Bud, and they're one group of people running one game. They're going to try to run a game, bro. That's running a game. They got a plan. They're all hanging together. They're trying to take over the world of boxing with trust fund, with hedge funds, bro. Head chopper, head chopper, head chopper. That's what I think, bro. Bud is tagging along with Shakur, and they're tagging along with Andre Ward, and they're tagging along with Floyd Mayweather Jr., and they're part of the hedge fund crew. That's Bud buddies are part of the hedge fund crew. Like, no joke. It's an inside joke. Inside joke that, with my therapist. They are part of the hedge fund crew. We call them the Bud buddies, but they're the boxers that are taking advantage of there being money in boxing for people that do not generate money. There's a lot of money in boxing right now, or there has been a lot of money in boxing for people that do not generate sales. And it's them. No joke, it's them. Now, seriously, I don't care if you talk about they selling out an arena because their gate is only their gate doesn't cover their purse. It doesn't matter that they sell out their arena. The arena didn't do any more than $5 million, and Shakur is getting paid $7 million, and Tio's getting paid $8 million. So, it's not, your pay-per-views didn't sell. Come on, man. Ain't nobody bought that pay-per-view. So you guys aren't generating the money, but the money's still getting paid. That is not how the PBC's operating, even though you want to file a lawsuit and act like that is how they're operating. And then your bullshit fell apart. Hey, what's up, Adams Boxing? What's up, y'all? Who said 1.2 million buys? Come on, man. Yeah, they did 1.2 million, right? Yeah, exactly. 1.2 million on the zone, right? Let me tell you something. If they did 1.2 million on the zone, you would not have to pay a subscription to buy the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is behind the subscription wall. Let me repeat that. The pay-per-view itself is hidden behind a pay-per-view wall. No, you cannot find out any numbers. Who said it did 1.2 million pay-per-view buys? And I'm going to tell you right now, they're lying their asses off. Fuck up out of here. I have not seen that reported by anybody credible. Nobody. Who did it? Ray Jackson? Ray Jackson? Did Ray Jackson promote? Ray Jackson put that shit out there. These two niggas just was on an undercard. They were on undercards their last fight. They were on undercards their last fight. But yep, they popped up with 1.2 million pay-per-views when you got to have a year's subscription. Yeah, right-o. Did anybody tell you Ring Rivalry used a clip from your show and gave you a shout out? No, but shout out to Ring Rivalry. I appreciate your Ring Rivalry. Thank you. No, I didn't. I can look, though. Hold on one second. Man, let me tell you something about life. Sometimes life is beautiful, bro. For real, dog. For real, for real, for real, for real. Excuse me. Life is good, bro. We got like 6,000 people. Man, the YouTube algorithm. Do you realize we got 6,000 people? 6,000 people in here? 6,000. That's crazy. It says 413 on the screen. But there's 16,000 in the over the course of the last hour in the what do you call it, in the description or in the analytics. So shout out to everybody that's on the live stream, man. I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, damn it, as you come on in the door. Kurt Jones said, because you're the man, Fanon. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. Let me tell you, though. Hey, dog, sounds like they put some TPUSA lied about their views versus Bad Bunny views. Candace Owens has been exposed. The fuck out of that. What is this? Laugh my ass out. What is it? That sound like how TPUSA lied about their views versus Bad Bunny Super Bowl views. Oh, you know that. Candace Owens has been exposed the fuck out of that racist trash ass group. Oh, been exposing the fuck out that racist fucked up group. Hey, man, you know who I would not want to fuck with in a debate, bro? I ain't gonna lie, dog. I won't want to fuck with Candace Owens, dog. Candace Owens is a motherfucking dog. I'm going to tell you right now, I would not want Candace Owens on my ass, bro. Hey, I ain't going to lie, dog. People like Candace Owens is why you get act right in the United States, bro. That girl is smart as hell. She does not care. She going to say what's on her mind. I'm not saying I always agree with her. I don't. But I swear to God, bro, hey, dog, she a savage, bro. Hell no. No. Hold on. Hold on, Thomas Hill. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Look. Look, I ain't worried about Candace. Don't get me wrong. Dog, I'm on my gangster, bro. Trust me. Bro, my gangster is rough, bro. So I ain't worried about my gangster, bro. Ain't nobody making me worry about my gangster, bro. Ain't nobody making me worried about my gangster, dog. However, I got to tell you, bro, I ain't lying, dog, about Candace Owens. She will fucking mash your ass. If you do not have the facts, bro, you better know those facts backwards, forwards, up, down, sideways. You better know all of your fallacies. You better know all of the tricks of the trade, bro. You better know everything if you gonna fuck with her, bro. I swear I give her an A+ as far as her ability to fry people's asses. And I am a tough critic. Trust me. Trust you me, bro. You got to get ready for those people can't handle this because Candace ain't lying. And that's the thing. Bro, she has a case for everything she says. She has a case for everything she says. Even if you don't like it, bro, you're going to have to fight through her case. And she will say things that nobody else is willing to say. And you know you'll never know where she'll go. So, yeah, man, I give her an A+, bro. Seriously, man. That girl is a savage, bro. That's a savage right there. A game recognized game, dog. Game recognized game. Because can't none of y'all play with me, bro. And I mean that. To the bottom of my heart, bro. You know why? Because I don't do your little corny little debates that take 5 minutes. Where you at, niggas? I'm sorry I said the N-word. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at with your flip-flopping asses? Why won't you ever admit that you lost a debate? You lost. You're not a lawyer, Tommy. You talking to me? Mike Moore? Who say you're not a lawyer, Tommy? Who's not a lawyer, Tommy? Candace is so cold with it, she even called and buried dinosaur bones so we don't believe in Jesus. Oh. Hey, look, bro, I'm just trying to tell you, bro. Candace is a bad chick. That chick bad. That chick bad. She's bad with it. She ain't like your boy. What's your boy? Like Willie D. Like Willie D, she ain't like Willie D, bro. You know what I mean? What do you think of Jasmine Crockett? Very doable. Very doable is what I think about Jasmine Crockett. I like her attitude, bro. I like Jasmine Crockett's attitude. I like her attitude. I like her feistiness. Honestly, man, I like most black female politicians. To be truthful. And I'm talking about Jasmine is highly touchable, dog. Highly touchable. For a U.S. congressman, say Crockett and Goofy, hey, they're all goofies now. They all goofies. But if they're easing on the eyes, so be it. You know what I mean? If they all goofies. But if they're easy on the eyes, so be it. Anyway, can I get a super chat for if I make an admission that you cannot refresh a super chat? But if you would like to sponsor this channel, I would greatly appreciate it because it costs money to operate this channel. I will not lie to you for money. That is the benefit that I will bring to you. I promise you I will. Also, when people make dumb fucking arguments and try to set your ass up like Shakur Stevenson and his Bud Buddy crew is trying to do, right? Or should I say, while the Bud Buddies are over here waiting for these scumbags to try to take Gervonta Davis down so that they can replace him at the top. We not going for that. Okay? We not going for that. I am calling on an investigation for all of the hedge funds connected to boxing. I'm telling you, man, I am going to do this. I am going to write a letter to my senator. And I am going to tell my senator that I believe that corruption in boxing is the main problem that we have. And that I believe that the money that is coming through this fight, coming through boxing, is through ill-gotten money in hedge funds coming out of Chicago, New York, and Beverly Hills. And that it is nothing but an embezzlement ring where they are embezzling money from hedge funds and paying it out through boxers and boxing events that lose tens of millions of dollars for the investors, but yet enrich boxers and enrich the promoters and managers and all of their connected people. So much so that they do not even have to operate at a profit. They openly brag about $100 million paydays when there's no public reason whatsoever to believe that there is a justification for them making that amount of money. And we have Terence Crawford on tape saying that he was going to get money out of a hedge fund. We know that BLK Prime was owned by a hedge fund. We know that Floyd Mayweather Jr. did business with a financial advisor that is able to get money out of hedge funds. We also know that Turki al-Sheikh, according to reports in Saudi Arabia, is not the source of the money investing in TKO because the Saudi Royal Investment Fund has been asked to only invest in Saudi Arabia because it's having financial difficulties. And even in the paperwork for TKO, it doesn't say that the financing is coming from Saudi Arabia. It says it's coming from a fucking investment firm in Beverly Hills, California. So all of this points to you guys hitting a lick. That's why nobody's watching boxing. Think about this. The amount of people that watch boxing has dramatically declined. Dramatically declined. But the amount of people, money getting paid to people in the sport has tripled and quadrupled. How do you have fewer people watching But the money that you're paying quadruples because of hedge funds that are willing to lose the money. You said it was a secret angel investor from Saudi Arabia that was doing it. But now we know that it's not him. But you still have access to some of the hedge funds, or you think that you do. Your people that are connected to you think they have access to this money. But they will not have access to this money anymore or over our dead bodies. And you can't make our bodies dead, so it's not going to happen. You guys are just dealing with people that were so used to stealing for so long, so blatantly. None of these big ventures that these guys have are making any money. None of them. How much money does Uber lose? How much money does Tesla lose? How much money are these people losing? They're losing it on purpose. In boxing, they're losing it on purpose. But here's my theory. My theory is that it is not some criminal. It is not, the money is not dirty money coming from drug dealers. You think the source of the money, because everybody knows it's a washing machine. Everybody says it's a washing machine. For the last 5 years, to any investor, anybody that wants to investigate boxing, for at least the 5 years, at least 7 years now, at least 7 since 2019, since the time of Daniel Kinahan, everybody has said that this money is dirty money. Everybody's assuming it's dirty money. It ain't dirty money. The dirty money was the front for the clean money. The dirty money was just the front for the clean money. Because you were like, oh, they can never catch him. Man, this guy's untouchable because they can never catch him. You know why? Because you're playing a fucking game where you're having everybody look over here and say, oh, it's criminals, it's criminals. No, it's not. Not criminals like you think it's criminals anyway. It's accountants. It's accountants. It's trust funds. It's hedge funds. It's financiers. Like the hedge funds that you guys have been bragging about. The hedge funds that you're on tape bragging about. They're already getting shut down. That's why they're moving boxing into something that is what? Very low cost. Very low cost. You can't do it if TKO takes over. You know why? Because all the money's going to get paid out by Paramount. They're going to know exactly who's paying for it, exactly where the money's coming from, and exactly where the money's going. Instead of you guys grabbing any Tom, John, Dick, or Harry to become a manager or a matchmaker and siphon a bunch of money off of people's hedge funds. On purpose. That's why you're not suing Al Heyman. That's why you're not suing Al Heyman. Oh, we know the investment banking firms. You know, like the one that gave $500 million, gave $500 million to Al Heyman. That was an investment fund. That was an investment fund that gave Al Heyman all that money. And you guys just found another investment fund, or found the same investment fund or the same organization giving you access to multiple funds. How you feeling, John Rogers? How you feeling, John Rogers? How y'all feeling out there in New York, bro? How you feeling, Mayor Bloomberg? I'm just want to say some random names. How you feeling, Bloomberg? How you feeling, Bloomberg? Y'all feeling good right now? I know y'all not. Because, hey, Bank Hype said, you are the fucking truth. Fuck Blue Blood Sports TV. Thank you. I'll take that. No joke, bro. I don't say fuck the dude, but seriously, dog has been unfairly competing for a very long time. Dude been cheating. All them niggas is cheaters, bro. Scratch a lie, find a thief. Thank you so much for the $50 holler, man. You held the whole thing, bro. That's huge. Nah, how you like me? I'm explaining the whole thing. You guys don't even know the whole thing. You just got some connections with some guys that get, you just know the guys that can get the money. I know the guys that can stop the money. How about that? Hold on 1 second. Man, my allergies acting up, man. Look, man. I've been trying for 7 years to be a fair person in the sport of boxing, bro. Oh, more super chats, my bad. Marcus Civilian said, here to debunk the lie Fanon is saying. This indeed refresh refresh the super chat. Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Marcus the villain in the building, man. Jamari in the building. Thank you, Jamari. Jamari. Nah, seriously, bro. For real. Y'all feeling sick yet? Y'all done drug. Let's get back to, I want to make my appointment again, bro. My point again. You cannot say, let me talk to Blue Blood for a second. For real, man. I know you're listening, Blue Blood. So let's just say this. Okay.
And I'm not being callous to her situation, but I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her, because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and I'm not being.
Do you hear how concerned he sounds? Look, bro, listen to this. This nigga's lying out his ass, and you know he's lying out his ass. But listen to how he sounds.
And I'm not being callous to her situation, but I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her, because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and
I know people gotta be disappointed.
You mean like when y'all said I got sued for defamation?
And I walk past and I ain't got no booty. I'm so sorry to y'all. Like, I'm so sorry to y'all.
Hey, man, seriously. Like when y'all said I got sued by Terence Crawford, that I defamed Terence Crawford. Or when you said, you mean tear down a reputation, like when you said Gervonta Davis, you had a tape of Gervonta Davis and you saw Gervonta Davis hit this girl? You mean that one? You mean the one where you talk about all kind of legal issues that you have no understanding of whatsoever? Like, dude, law school exists for a reason. It really does, bro. Let me tell you seriously, man. Law school exists for a reason, as do people that actually practice law in a particular specialty. If you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you should shut the fuck up. Because you could be doing a lot of damage to people. You really can. Like, you guys probably got that arrest warrant put out on Gervonta Davis because of all of the bullshit that you guys set Gervonta Davis up for. Because you guys helped Gervonta Davis's reputation get so bad. The only reason everybody believes this about Gervonta Davis is because Gervonta Davis has a bad reputation, and you guys have helped Gervonta Davis' reputation be bad for several years. Do you guys remember? Let's go back for a second. Let's go back for this. Let's talk about somebody's reputation. Let's just do something for a second.
Right.
You got the last one right. That's the only person that can beat me. Gervonta Davis. That's the only person. Them niggas not touch me at all.
I know,
They all been in the ring with me. They all been in the ring with me. They all been in the ring, and I cracked both of them. I cracked both of them.
I feel you, but check this right,
Okay.
Tank. But okay, so you telling me you cracked both of them, right? But I was also told that Devin got the best of you in the last sparring session.
He didn't get no best of me. He ain't get no best of me. He did not get no best of me.
He jumped right off the plane and sparred Devin. Right off the plane.
No best of me. He didn't get no best of me.
Let me something, man. You can go on the internet.
And you know I sparred them twice. I sparred them twice.
Right. And Bill
took him out the ring.
And Bill admitted that. Bill and Dan both said that.
Almost knocked him out in Floyd gym. Did they tell you that? Did they tell you I almost knocked him out in the gym? Did they tell you that?
I don't know, but I ain't hear that.
Oh, okay.
I ain't hear.
I ain't hear that. Hell no, I didn't hear that. I'll leave it alone. I won't show you where you guys said, oh, Gervonta Davis beat you in sparring, Tank. Nah, they didn't tell me nothing about that. Then we get a big-ass tape of Devin Haney getting his ass whooped. Now, look, bro, y'all been trying to make Devin Haney the star for a lot of years, and Shakur's trying to cut a deal with Shakur. Shakur's trying to cut a deal with Devin to try to make a big fight with Devin. Bro, and be the one to beat Devin. That man lies and ruins reputations daily. Rumor has it each lie he gets a hair extension, and now he's running around with Rick James box braids. Look, man, I don't know what's going on with dude, bro. I've literally, bro, never understood or never met a human being like that. I mean, seriously, he's not real in anything that he does. That's not real. Like, the dude is not real. Like, just honestly, man, you ever see that shit where the girl says, oh, that nigga's an alien? Like, ever see that shit on a plane? Where you look at the plane and you're like, the girl was at the bottom of a plane, back of the plane, getting off a plane. And she was like, oh, the guy, he's not real. There's somebody, they're not real. You know how, like, you think somebody, they got all these rumors about people being like reptilians and shit? Like shape-shifting reptilians and things? That nigga is a candidate for being a shape-shifting reptilian, bro. I swear to God, bro. That dude don't have no conscience. That, if anybody, nah, seriously, bro. That dude has no conscience whatsoever. No pause on telling lies. No, nothing he won't say. Nothing he will not say. Nothing. And look, he'll say the shit with a straight face. Like this. You look, he believes this shit. I mean, it's amazing, bro. I'm sorry. Listen to this.
Situation. But I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis countersues, and I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis presses charges on her, because there needs to be examples made. You can't just be ruining people's reputations, brands, and check them about. And I'm not being callous to her situation.
Bro, you are being callous. What do you mean? I'm not being callous towards the situation, but she needs to be sued. I'm not being callous. Nigga, that's all you are is callous. Nigga, you can't see any life in that nigga's eyes, bro. That nigga shit is dead as a doornail, bro. Anyway, bro, God, dog, man. How can you just... You just gonna skip past Roach when the rematch? Yes, I am gonna skip past Roach. Yes, I am. Y'all didn't want Lamont Roach the first time. Why should you want Lamont Roach the second time? Look, bro, I'm not taking anything you guys say seriously about Gervonta Davis. Absolutely nothing. Okay? Because all he is the ringleader. Bro, he's the ringleader of a crew of scumbags. Like, you are, as a unit, y'all are scumbags. He's just one dude that runs a bunch of scumbags. He's got to be. Seriously. What's going on, Curtis Robinson? Thank you, brother. He said, fucking lies is damn pathetic, King. Look, bro, it's shocking. It's diabolical. It is something I've had to deal with for years, bro. This dude, either by stealing content, look, bro, either by stealing content, sneak dissing, arguing. If you break a story, the nigga steals your story, adds 2 untrue facts to it and reports it. Like, bro, I could go on and on about how that dude tries to hold people down, bro. I'm serious, bro. He tried to do that shit to Manager Marty. He tried to repress Manager Marty. Like, oh my God, you're gonna try to suppress this dude and humiliate this guy like Terence Crawford. He ain't no different than Terence Crawford. How Terence Crawford did that dude with his lying ass. Terence Crawford, Terence Crawford, Terence Crawford, Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is the same dude. Anyway, you guys just don't have ethics, bro. I know what the deal is. You don't have ethics. You don't have you don't have a sense of decency about yourself. You can be wrong about a boxing event, wrong about a boxing match, bro. Doesn't make you a bad guy. Jesus, how many times he stole stuff from Ego? Oh my God, I can only imagine, bro. I can only imagine how many times he stole. Dude, let me tell you something, bro. This dude will steal some shit from you the first time you do it. No joke, bro. He'll steal. If you have a good idea, this dude is going to steal your good idea as soon as he sees it. Literally, there's nothing creative about the dude other than his ability to steal shit from other people. Like, bro, for real, this shit used to be so fucking frustrating, dog. But now that people can see it, but he's part of a boxing organization, bro. Let's be real. You guys are part of the same organization that Rick Glazier's a part of. Let's be real. It's nothing different than the same organization that is run by Rick Glazier. That's it. Rick Glazier, guys like the late Victor Conte. You guys in California, you had Victor Conte in California. You got Rick Glazier and his little muscle crew in New York. And that's who you guys are aligned to. And you guys wouldn't do business with Ohio in the Midwest. Let's be real. You didn't want to do business with the Midwest. You didn't want to do business with Al Heyman. You didn't want to do business with Don King. It was just that you couldn't get away with not doing business with Don King until you could get away with not dealing with Don King. This is a very old fight we see in the sport of boxing. This is a fight that's been around when I was a kid. These are battles between people that were running boxing organizations, people that were running sanctioning bodies, people that have been running state boxing commissions for decades. Matter of fact, the New Jersey Boxing Commission was run by Larry Hazard, who I do believe is big blue blood, at least if blue blood was telling the truth for once, was his cousin or his cousin or a family member of the guy that runs New Jersey Boxing, which is run by the mob. You guys are just all you guys are is a bunch of stepping fetches for the mob. And a peon portion of the mob at that. Let's tell the truth. And you guys still think you can run game. You still think you can run game. You still trying to run game. You setting people up for dumb shit. This is my opinion. You setting people up for dumb shit. You're trying to use your political connections to stop people from getting fights. You try to use your political connections to get arrest warrants. You try to use your political connections to make a big deal. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. That's where the rubber hits the road. In between your media people who say what they're told to say, because Blue Blood is a puppet that says what he's told to say. That's it. They do what they're told. They say what they're told to say by their bosses. They get their cover and their protection from their bosses. They do. That's why they lie every time they're told to lie. That's why they buddy up next to you. And then right when you don't think of it, all of a sudden they don't like you anymore. All of a sudden they make up reasons to say bad things about you to their followers. You know what I mean? So we know full well how this works. And you guys are nothing but a bunch of media fronts. That's all you are. That's why when the Spit Bucket podcast said something to me on Twitter about how I have this number of the lawyer told you dudes to say that shit to me. Because the lawyer wound up saying it to me when I talked to him. Same bullshit piece of paper that you guys got fried and whooped on. So let's not act like Blue Blood means anything. He doesn't mean anything. Neither does Steve Kim. Neither does Dougie Fisher. Neither does any of these other media people that do what they're told to do. But I'm telling you, you clowns bit off more than you can chew. That's why you keep looking like liars. Because your boss told you, oh, Gervonta Davis is going to jail for 4 years. Do a video. We're going to put him in jail for 4 years. Hey, breaking news. Gervonta Davis is going to jail for 4 years. Do a video about Gervonta Davis being on the run because okay, Gervonta Davis is on the run. You do everything that you're told because these people are framing Gervonta Davis at a certain level. Now, is Gervonta Davis doing things that will allow him to get set up? We'll see when it goes to court. But I just find it very interesting that you guys took such an extreme position on Gervonta Davis. Such an extreme position on Gervonta Davis. You don't want to see Gervonta Davis fight anybody, is what you said. Really? Anyway, that's how I see it. That's what I see it. I see all you journalists as a bunch of guys that are told what to say by somebody. And you're not going to say what you're told not to say. Let me give you a good example of that. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard Chris Algieri with his punk ass. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard of Chris Algieri with his punk ass. Being told to say that Gervonta Davis is not one of the top 8 people to beat Shakur Stevenson. 8. Chris Algieri said he wanted to see Shakur Stevenson fight 8 other people other than Gervonta Davis, bro. Now, if you think Chris Algieri actually believes that shit, no. Chris Algieri, the guy that produces the people that produce that show, gave him a hot take And they get scripts. And they operate off scripts because that's how they earn a living. Because otherwise, Chris Algieri would have to go get another job. Same for me. If some of these guys don't pay me, hey, bro, and I can't make no money, I got to go get another job. So I better find some way to make sure I keep this gig. Tank isn't fighting much, to be honest. Isn't fighting too much to be the best, to be honest. No. Within 8. First of all, can I tell you something, Jose Lopez? Gervonta Davis fought last March against Lamont Roach. Gervonta Davis fought last March. I don't even get why people say he doesn't fight that much. He fights more often than Terence Crawford does. Terence Crawford fights about once every 2 years. Once every year. Gervonta Davis usually fights 2 times a year. Gervonta Davis fought back in March of last year. I do want to see him fight more, but what do you mean he doesn't fight enough to be the best? You think Floyd Schofield is better than him? Because he fought twice last year? You think Abdullah Mason? Come on, man. Come on, man. Really? You believe these people are saying that you believe that they believe the shit that they're saying? What do you mean fighting lower? He did not fight lower competition. He fought better competition. Debate me. I got a chance. I'll debate anybody over it. And hey, look, I'm going to put a link in. Don't hit the link if you're not going to debate me. Okay? If you're not going to debate me, don't hit the link. But don't run your mouth if you're not going to hit the link. Gervonta Davis has fought better competition than Shakur Stevenson. Better. 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 I'll name 2, sure. I'll name 3. Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero is currently the number 1 welterweight at 147 for the WBC. Mario Barrios is currently the number 1 welterweight for the for the WBA at 147. It is Rolly Romero, and Mario Barrios is the WBC champion. Yeah, debate me on it, man. You can laugh all you want. Debate. Debate me. Laughing is not debating. Laughing is not debating. You said name top 5. You've got 4 champions at welterweight. 4. Devin Haney, Lewis Crocker, Mario Barrios, and Rolly Romero. That's 4 champions at welterweight. Gervonta beat 2 of them. Last time I checked, 4 is less than 5. So you said name 2 of the top 5 fighters. There you go. I'm going to delete your message. I'm going to delete you because you won't click the link to make your argument. I already told you, Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta has a better resume than Shakur. He does. He does. I don't think it's much debate on it either. Shakur Stevenson beat Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez was not an undefeated fighter. He had already gotten his ass whooped by George Kambosos. Teofimo Lopez already lost to several other people. Just because you like Shakur and Shakur beat Teofimo convincingly doesn't make Shakur better than anybody else on Gervonta's resume that lost to somebody else and became a 2-division champion. Mario Barrios is a 2-division champion. Rolly Romero is a 2-division champion. Rolly Romero beat Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney. I mean, you guys don't have very good arguments because you're bots. Leo Santa Cruz is a better win than Tio. It is. It is. He had one loss. Tio had one loss. Leo Santa Cruz is a multi-weight division champion. Gervonta fought him in his weight class. Leo Santa Cruz is as good, at least, as a win against Teofimo Lopez, bro. But you got to say what you got to say in order to get your job. You know what I mean? Mean what I'm saying? Can we get a super chat today? Every day I got to talk until I get one super chat. Cash App, I'm sorry. I always got to work to one Cash App, bro. One Cash App today. If we can't get a Cash App in 5 minutes, then I'll break out. But, we trying to pay the bills around here. I will be honest with you. Martin Blackwell, that's my real name, and everything that I said about myself is true. I'm not hiding behind some alias working for somebody else who's really pushing the buttons. Chuck E. Cheese, Edward Cheese, you fucking scrub. Bill Haney, you fucking scrub. When's the last time Bill Haney said some shit about me? Sorry, Martins, I've been struggling. So no worry, man. I'm not talking about anybody normal, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it if you can't. Anybody that has supported me regularly, don't worry about it when I say that. For real. I just got to do it because I got to do it. Guys, I just do it because I got to do it. That's all it is. You got to do what you got to do. You got to work every day, bro. You got to put the videos out when you don't feel like it. You know what I mean? Hey, man, somebody did it. Thank you, bro. And now I can go. Bird101 with the $5 holler said, support. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Magalon said, I tell people every day, just because these boxers don't fight like Floyd or Shakur don't mean they not top level, so they stuck on Shakur. It's crazy. Nah, you got to remember, bro, everybody that Gervonta Davis fights is bad when Gervonta Davis fights them. But if somebody else fights them, then they're good when somebody else fights them. You have to remember, whenever they say Gervonta doesn't ever fight anybody good, always make sure you put that last word on there. What they mean is Gervonta Davis doesn't fight anybody good enough for them. They don't want Gervonta Davis to fight anybody because they don't like Gervonta. So nobody that he fights is going to be good enough, and everybody their guy fights enough is going to be good enough, and that's how it works. What up, Just Do? How you feeling, brother? Shout out to Just Do Boxing. I'm good, brother. Good to see you come around, bro. Good to see you around, brother. Hope you're doing well. Make sure everybody, you right, they hate him. Dog, they're paid to do it, bro. Or should I say, dog, they have incentive to do it because they are very politically adept people. They know which way the wind is blowing, so they blow along with the wind to make sure that they don't get in any trouble. They want to make sure that they don't get in any trouble, so they stay out of the way. So if somebody acts like they're a bully with some muscle, you guys act like PUSSYs. Let's be real, gangsters. Whenever somebody with some muscle comes around you, you suckers fold like laundry. Let's be real. You guys are what you call PUSSY. Because anytime anybody with some muscle comes up to you, you always fold. Because you are a PUSSY. Yes, you are. So eventually, it's going to come back to bite you. Because somebody's going to make you do something to somebody that you're not going to be able to get out of that shit with. Yes, sirree, Bob. Rich L in the building. Hey, man. Thank you. Hey, man. Jamari, hold on one second, man. Jamari hit it up. Thank you, Jamari. Oh, hey, thank you, Jamari. He say, AKA Ringside. Thank you, Jamari. With the $8 holler. I love that name. I love that number, bro. With the $8 holler, brother. Thank you so much, bro. And then my guy, Rich L, said, you got it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. I just needed to do that, bro, because seriously, I got to pay bills, man. Yes, and I said because he's not kissing ass and not doing interviews every day, he's his own man. They hate it, yeah. But really, they just want to hear about Gervonta, so they got to do it. Anyway, oh, man, thank you, BA resident. Thank you, bro. He said, keep doing your thing, Fanon. Thank you, bro. It means a lot, man. Thank you. Appreciate you for the $20 holler. That actually, thank y'all so much for the support in the chat today, because that is how I'm able to do the channel, bro. The super chat and the cash apps and the super chats and the cash apps are the most important revenue source for the channel because it's the most variable thing. So thank you guys. When you guys tip that hat, I swear I'm going to do my best not to lie to y'all. And shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV. Dog, thank you for doing your job. I appreciate you doing your job, bro, so thoroughly that it is so easy to catch your bosses. And I mean this, Blue Blood, nothing personal. But fuck your bosses. No joke, bro. Nothing personal, dog. Just like I know what you say about me and you do in the bullshit that y'all do, it isn't personal. It just comes from your bosses. But I do want you niggas to know. Nigga, I wish you would. And I told you that 1,000 times. Your baddest nigga that you got, send them. I'm not like you cowards, bro. Because I don't have to be like you cowards. If somebody tries to push on me, bro, I ain't got to go nowhere. Unless I want to. I'll cut a deal if I feel like it. But it's going to be because I feel like it. And I think it's a good thing to do. It's never going to be because your little crony dudes got some muscle on me. Okay? So, by the way, I also got a lot of influence. So I can ensure that certain people get treated fairly. Because I have more influence than your boss does. Also understand that. The reason why a lot of your shit fails is because I got more influence than your boss does. And you can like it, you can lump it, but I've been telling y'all for a long time. I know what you mean. No, I'm just telling you. I don't have to go along with your shit. You got to go along with their shit. I don't got to go along with their shit. But I can make sure that people get treated fairly because I got way more influence, personal influence. I'm not talking about YouTube content creator shit. And I mean this when I'm saying this to you. I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm not talking about Twitter. I'm not talking about followers. I'm not talking about subscribers. I'm not talking about the number of views. I'm not talking about the number of impressions. I'm not talking about any of that. I mean, if I want to get some shit done in real life where you don't need information, you don't need a computer to get it done, I've got more influence than your boss. So you guys can keep thinking that they're going to pull this shit off and keep thinking that you can set something up and treat somebody unfairly. You're not going to be able to do it. If Gervonta Davis goes down, it's going to be because Gervonta Davis did something, not because you set him up on a probation violation to sit him in jail for something he actually did. You're not going to get him you're not going to set him up and then try to stick him with a probation violation because you drew a bunch of attention to a probation violation underneath the fucking some bullshit, which is really just a money grabbing scheme. That's what it's looking like anyway. However, if Gervonta did it, then he's going to get punished for it because he did it. But he's not going to be punished for it because he didn't do it. He's not going to sit in jail for 2 years because of a probation violation that some girl set up just because of an accusation. You know what that's called? You guys tried to, your bosses, this is my opinion. My opinion. You tried to set him up for a probation violation. And you failed. And now you want to backtrack and say, oh, he needs to sue the girl for ruining his reputation. Maybe he should sue you for what you did to his reputation. But you know how it is. He's not going to sue anybody. Gervonta's just going to get back to boxing if he gets off and make his money like he did. Solely, man, I'm telling y'all terrible people, bro. Hey, be careful crossing the street. Me? Yeah, I am every time I cross the street. Thank God for another day I can get right with the Lord because I'm a sinner. What? Yeah, no joke. Nephew Tank got to be found guilty in Miami before the judge find him guilty in Baltimore. Yeah. Exactly. He gets his day in court. And he probably's got ankle monitoring. But anyway, much love, man. Appreciate everybody supporting the channel. Let me get up out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.